So you best believe that there's a contest on our Patreon for this, because we got we got a commemorative Cats bucket here. We got a Cats cup, and of course, an autographed Lloyd animated series DVD. And you could do our contest for this over at patreon.com/thecinemasnob. There'll be a link in the description and in the comments as well. Plus, at the end of the video, we'll talk more about it and we'll sign it as well. But, until then, man, I've been waiting to talk about this for a while. So we went to go see Cats. Because hell yeah, we went to go see Cats. We walked in there, and the lady who took our tickets was excited. She was like, "Oh, I'm so," because it was crowded. Everyone was there seeing Star Wars. Yeah. And so we're in there seeing Cats, and she's like, I'm so glad somebody is here seeing Cats." And you go like, "Is there anybody in the theater?" She's like, "No, there's like 2 or 3 other people in there." She's like, "I want more people going to go see Cats." Cats, man. Oh, Sarah and I were texting about this too earlier, because originally I was going to make a trip back to Springfield to go see this, but the movie did come out at a very awkward time of the year.
Yeah, it's
today's my birthday, so yeah, I went to go see Cats, and we're getting a lot of last minute stuff done before we go out of town for the holidays, and unfortunately I couldn't make it back to Springfield, but I think we're going to try next month. I hope she gets around to going to see this movie. Now, last night we were at Rise of Skywalker.
Took you a second to remember.
In which that's because I'm still playing the Cats music in my head. We went to go see Rise of Skywalker last night, in which there was a lot of a range of emotions in the reviews, from insanely positive from Jared and insanely not from me. Rise of Skywalker was like kind of among my least favorite kinds of bad movies, where it's something that I'm not getting any kind of joy or excitement out of, when it's just
like a checklist
exposition. When it's just exposition.
What about something like Dune or something?
When it's something like that, where it's just all this exposition dialogue, not much in the way of character really, and just kind of just this barking orders slog and a random assortment of scenes thrown at you in what is a fairly joyless movie. Cats? This is my shit.
Who would have known that you prefer Cats over Star Wars?
Over Rise of Skywalker? This is my kind of musical. I love musicals anyway. This is reminiscent of my favorite era of movie musical, late 70s, early 80s, where they're coked out of their head pitching this movie, and you gotta think that someone's pitching this movie while banging someone in the writer's room. This movie is... Yeah, I was watching this going I'm being thrown back to the days of Xanadu, the Apple, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, Staying Alive, because I think this is the closest we're gonna get to a Satan's Alley movie, the play from the end of Staying Alive.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I was loving it. I was loving every minute of this movie. I had such a great time in this movie, man, watching this insanity unfold on screen, because unlike Star Wars, unlike Rise of Skywalker, in this, I respect this.
It's very experimental. It went for it.
They are unapologetically committing to it in this film.
They are.
I respect that so much. I respect the effort that went into this movie, what these actors are doing, the sets, everything, including what doesn't work about this movie.
Yeah.
So I admire it. I respect it. This movie, like, when James Corden comes in his outfit and he's standing around all these cats, I'm sitting there watching it going, I have a feeling this is what Batman Returns would look like if Schumacher directed that one.
Oh, by the way, just so everyone knows, I'm getting kind of sick. And earlier this today, like, so my throat really hurts. So if I'm not very talkative, that's why.
It's okay, because I can talk about this movie.
Okay, because I don't want people to be like,
I can talk about this movie.
Like, we have a flight tomorrow at 4 in the morning.
We do. I'm probably gonna stay up.
So I'm like,
I'm on this cat's high.
I can't risk getting way more sick than I am right now. So sorry if I'm not very talkative. I really wanted to see this movie, and
did you like it?
Okay, so I'm not much of a musical person.
Oh, and I am.
I am it depends on the kind of musical.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like musicals that at least have, like, speaking lines.
Sure.
Between songs, and not where it's just song after song after song after song. I don't like that, really.
Like
I'm
an
not...
opera?
Like an opera, yeah. Like, I wasn't a big Les Mis fan.
Sure.
My favorite musicals are, like, Sweeney Todd, Sound of Music, Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
You know, things that are, you know, there's people talking between the songs. I don't like it when people, especially, okay, I like this way more than Les Mis, because at least it's not like...
Oh, this had some lines between the songs that had cat puns. It had, cat got your tongue. It had, well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. Man, this movie is... At one point, like, Spielberg was going to do an adaptation of this as I believe an animated movie, and there's, like, storyboards or concept art of it, and you look at that and you go, yeah, maybe that's what it should have been, really.
Like 2D or what?
Yeah, I think that's, I remember it kind of looking like that in the storyboards for it. But again, it's like I said, I can't lie, like, they went all out on this thing, man. I
admire that.
Yeah, they were like, we don't care. We're making this multi-million-dollar Cats adaptation that looks like, with the pinks and the neons and everything going on.
The street lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, the street lights. Like, whenever you're in the streets, you see, like, a lot of, like, neons. And...
It's like one of the later Nightmare on Elm Street movies where, like, Freddy Krueger would fuck with somebody who was maybe a cat person and send them into this land. Like, so, but at the same time, like, I know this garnered a lot of negative reactions from the trailer when it came out.
The way it looks is definitely, it is unnatural looking.
But I mean,
it is unnatural looking. It can be creepy looking. Like, when you look at the people when it's just the main characters, it still looks kind of weird, but it looks a little more, like, finished. But the people in the background, I noticed, I was like, this looks a little unfinished. And then when there are mice in this...
I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Because I want to talk about just the cats right now. Like, as far as the cats go, honestly, like, okay, no, this movie is not for everybody, and neither is the play. But when I was watching it, for the most part, now there's some parts where it gets a little unnerving, but for the most part, though, I was watching it going, yeah, this is, if you did a $150 million movie of Cats, this is what I figured it would look like in 2019, doing it like this, doing it in the way that they did it. So through a lot of it, I wasn't really thinking much of it in terms of it looking kind of creepy or unnatural, because I'm like, it's Cats, and it's a multi-million-dollar movie version of it. Yep. Now, this is one of the most fetishy movies I've ever seen in my life. No. So, in that aspect of it, watching it, it was sort of like, this is almost, there's some angles in it, whether it's Rebel Wilson's spread eagle and scratching her thighs, or all the ass and tails practically coming out the ass.
Yeah,
where
it's like coming out of their anus.
I know. I was like, is this like a dare that someone had? Like, dude, I'll bet you you can't make one of the most weirdly fetishy movies ever made, where characters are naked through the whole thing, and get a PG rating, because this movie's only a PG.
Yeah.
Like, so, and someone lost that bet, because that's what they made with this movie. This movie kind of feels like, the way that the cats are, it's sort of like if you gave $150 million to Wood Rocket to make a porn parody, and then they really kind of got caught up in the music and the spectacle of it, and forgot about the sex, because you're kind of waiting for an orgy to happen several times, totally. Especially when the catnip gets dumped on all of them. But I was just loving the guts of this movie, man.
Especially when Idris Elba takes off his coat.
That looked weird.
That was one where I was like, okay, because a lot of the cats in this, they kind of have like longer hair, kind of. Idris Elba, his skin tone matches exactly the way his fur looks. There's no pattern in his fur. It's not like he's a tabby or something. He
looks like a naked man.
Yeah, he looks like a naked man. Like it's exactly the same exact color of his face, which I mean most of them kind of are kind of.
But he did look different. He looked like he should be.
There's no like stripes or like patterns on his fur, and it was short hair, and I was like, looks naked.
He looks like he would be a demon in one of the Insidious movies. Like, kind of, if there was a crazy cat demon in one of them, that would be him.
I mean, Idris Elba is sexy, so I'm like, okay, sure. But
you're gonna bang that cat?
But it is a little odd seeing him compared to the other ones, because everyone else is kind of either wearing clothes or have longer fur, and he's like completely nude.
Maybe it was also that he was ripped as shit.
Yeah, that's true. And you could see like the bulge a little bit, and it was a little odd looking.
Where it was,
when you would see their fingernails and like their toes, I was like, this is weird.
But when it got now we'll get into this. But when it got into the mice people. And when it got into, so for the first 10 minutes, I was going like, you know what? I'm already kind of into this movie. Like, I'm here for a spectacle, a crazy-ass spectacle, this wild, ambitious musical that they're doing, and in the first 10 minutes I'm like, that's really what I'm getting here. And I've seen the play, and I don't mind the play. I don't have the hatred for it that a lot of people do. It's not one of my favorites, but I don't hate it. Then when it got into Rebel Wilson, I was sort of like, this is starting to lose me a little.
It could go without the Rebel Wilson.
But she's not in it that much.
She's not, so it's like, okay, I can maybe be a little like, all right, well, she's not in it that much.
But her scene, though, is the weirdest scene in the movie.
And James Corden.
Well,
that's his name, right? James?
Yeah, with Rebel Wilson's, though, at first it was like, okay, yeah, I guess if you want the cat that won't land on its feet, why wouldn't you hire Rebel Wilson? So at first it was kind of getting into that shtick, but then it turns into this, like, CG mice people, marionette.
Cockroach people.
And there are cockroach people in this movie, an army of cockroach people, and if that weren't crazy enough, Rebel Wilson starts eating them.
And it's gross. I hate that sound of the exoskeleton.
What?
I hate the sound of exoskeleton being chewed on, or like, you know when you hear that in movies, and it's like, ksh, I'm like, and you see her like, she's not just like slurping it up. She's like, it's gross. I'm like, oh, God, I don't want to. And she does it a few times.
She does, and the cockroaches are still dancing.
And they're like people.
Yeah, they're cockroach people getting eaten by the people cats, and the other cockroaches seem all right with this. I guess that's their lot in this life.
She's like a militant leader in it, though, because she's kind of like, all right, stay in line, you know, march.
Or I'll eat you. Yeah. Or I will eat you, you cockroach people.
Why don't they rise against her?
I was upset that we didn't get to see a dog person, because we hear a dog.
I know, I was saying that to you.
Yeah, we hear a dog at one point, and I'm like, I'll bet it looks like one of the dog people from, like, Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge.
If you got,
huh?
oh, sorry.
I was like, I'm trying to picture in my head what this would look like.
If you could cast a person that would be playing a dog, who would it be?
Off the top of my head,
I don't know. I guess that's a kind of hard question to ask.
I don't know, Danny DeVito.
Oh, that kind of hurt my voice.
Gerard Butler, have him do it. He was in Phantom of the Opera.
What was that one that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when they were saying like the nose detective guy like
Dolph Lundgren,
yeah.
like the Fifth Sense,
running around
he knows
on all
the
fours.
truth. Yeah. I know, this is like
that'd be kind of funny. It'd be a little weird, but I mean this whole movie is fucking weird. So
yeah, it's weird as hell. I mean, it's like, once they got rid of Dr. Moreau on the island, the animals decided to put on their own show.
The James Corden stuff, I was...
Oh, you didn't like the crotch joke?
Yeah.
There's silliness in this movie.
No, like, I'm okay with silliness, but when it comes to juvenile humor or fat humor, I can't stand Rebel Wilson. Like, there's only maybe one movie I like her in, and I can't stand the fact that she reduces herself to this. Like, maybe she chooses it, I don't know, but it's not funny, it's stupid.
She can be great.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, I saw her, like, in one movie, I thought she was fine in.
And in this, I mean, she's certainly putting on a performance in this, between dancing and the singing.
I'm just stumbling around, and it's like, it's not like this is the first time she's ever done it.
No,
it's
but I
just
mean,
hiring.
she's not in this movie all that much.
She's not.
Not enough for me
but
to
I
really...
wish it wasn't in there as much. Like, I wish she would just do a normal fucking performance than just being like, I'm gonna stumble around and maybe it's like that in the play. I don't know, but James Corden also being the crotch, him hitting himself in the crotch. It's like I hate crotch jokes. That's like low hanging fruit.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, I had a.
That's the only really issue.
I had a time and a half watching this movie, but I mean, there's stuff that doesn't work.
Those are the times where I was like, okay, I really wish that wasn't in the movie. I knew what I was kind of getting into, and you know what? I really appreciate how much this movie was going for it. You know, it's experimental with technology, as weird as it looks. The movie, it's the story itself. When you were talking, because I've never really seen the play that much. But when you told me about the story, I was like, okay, that's a weird play to begin with. The story, at least, the plot. I'm like, well, what else are you going to do with it? And it's like, well, this movie seems like what you would do if you were doing
Sure,
cats.
yeah.
It's
you get like a
movie.
bunch of musical cats together to reenact the first part of Logan's Run. So I don't know, man. Like, yeah, this movie is it's already getting harped on a lot. And, you know, there's reviews of it that are certainly seeming to try to outdo one another on the different jokes they can put in the review.
It seems like it's the popular thing to hate it.
And it's not that I don't understand this not being your thing, but I mean, for me, I was watching it going like I said, I just love a batshit musical like this. Mm-hmm. Like this.
It didn't surprise me that you liked it.
Yeah, just this. Again, I love a crazy musical. I love a crazy spectacle, and that's what this movie gave me. I'm sorry, I got more joy and imagination out of this movie than I did Star Wars last night. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
There's. I don't know. I sat there watching this movie, at times jaw dropped, like with the cockroach people and things like that. At other times kind of bewildered about things they were doing, like, you know, this naked Catman Idris Elba. But I was always like curiously wide-eyed watching this and just into this spectacle that they're showing me. And it helps, sir, that I've seen the play. But even if you have, there'll be some surprises in this movie. And I did. There are new songs that are the one new song in it Maybe there's a couple. It's been a while since I've seen the play, but
Taylor Swift song.
I thought. I mean, not saying it was good or bad in terms of the song, but I thought it fit along with everything else.
No, it didn't feel out of place.
No, it wasn't like that new song they put in like Aladdin that seems like, okay, well, yeah, that was written 25 years later.
Yeah, those new like Disney remakes.
Yeah,
where it's just like, I'm gonna add this song because we need to make it different somehow.
But yeah, you know what? You raise another good point where I'm like, again, like for all like the trash talk that's going on about this movie, for all of the like. I'm seeing people say to me about Star Wars, like, well, at least you weren't at Cats. I'm like, really? I would watch this 20 more times before I would watch Rise of Skywalker again. Hands down, I would. And same thing with, I'm sorry, I got so much more out of this movie than any of those damn Disney remakes that are out. Those Disney remake musical things that get put out.
I agree with you, because a lot of the things that Disney is doing right now with their product is, doing a lot of safe stuff, but we gotta make it different enough to make it.
I wouldn't call this movie safe.
No, that's what I'm saying.
No, I agree.
Like,
no, I know what you mean.
They're doing something that's not safe, like the new Star Wars movie. And I'm sorry, we keep comparing it to Star Wars.
We just saw Star Wars last night.
Yeah, so it's like this new one. It's like, okay, since Last Jedi didn't really get a lot of good fans, fan reactions. We're gonna have to just go really safe and do like, a lot of the similar things that will make the fans happy. And it's like with this, it's like, okay, yeah, this is not gonna be for everyone, and we're not gonna care. It's like if it's not for you, it's not for you.
Kudos spending $150+ million on this movie. Like, bravo. Why not?
The only thing I just didn't like about the movie is just, I'm not a person that, like I've said before, that I like where musicals are just continuously singing. That's the only thing I really would say about the movie that I just don't like. But that's a personal thing.
I like the music in it.
I like the music most of the part. Some parts.
For the most part.
Some parts I was like, that was kind of a throwaway song.
Yeah, there is that.
There's the main song, Jericho Cats, where it's like, they play it a couple times, and I actually like that song. Memory. Yeah, that one's fine. Yeah. She's all snotty in it. It's like, damn, they're trying to go for another Anne Hathaway moment.
Doing that.
Yeah, they're trying to do it.
Why not? I like the scene.
It was okay. The dancing's really good. The ballet is really good. Maybe ballet is just really sexual, because they're very handsy, and I know that ballet is pretty handsy, but it's like they are reaching the small of their back all the time, and always touching each other. I was like, damn, this is pretty sexual. Unfortunately, Lloyd couldn't be in this review.
No, Lloyd couldn't be in this review. Do you recommend this movie?
He's crying upstairs because he was so emotional. Yeah. He was really sad he wasn't represented in the movie because there's no Siamese in it.
I thought I saw one.
I don't think it was.
But they reference Siamese in it, which is more than I can say about that damn Lady and the Tramp remake. Again, this movie's a million times better than that. The two calico cats that were in it. Yeah. They should have been Siamese cats. I wish. I'm gonna have to start doing more cat reviews with Lloyd. So alright, you ready to sign these? Okay, again. Right. Oh, all right. Okay. So we got this bucket right here. I love getting this memorabilia stuff. It's a nice thing to throw on for people to do different contests and things like that. With this, what do I want? I don't know what I want to write. I'm thinking about what I want the contest to be. Best cat picture? No, because I don't know if you can add pictures into the comments on there. If you go to patreon.com/thecinemasnob, you'll see a blog entry in there, and I'll put the link in the description. You didn't think about it before? I did, but I don't want to I was thinking tell us why this movie's better than Star Wars, but I'm like, okay, well, that's gonna get a lot. I don't. Maybe I don't. I've already kind of dogpiled on Star Wars enough as it is. You know what? All right, do this. Write down Cats 2 and your own funny, like, subtitle for it. The punnier, the better. So, okay, that'll be it, and the most liked one will win.
Make your own Cats movie.
Oh, yeah, send it to us.
Send it to us.
Okay, so, I'm writing, this is a forgery signed Lloyd.
Yours is a lot funnier than mine's gonna be.
Someone's gonna look at this and be like, what, got Andrew Lloyd Webber? There you go.
I don't know what to do.
Oh, just draw like a little cat print.
Cute.
Also not Lloyd.
Oh, if Chloe was still around, I would do the Chloe thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, Chloe is off. She's in her little weather balloon.
Yeah, she's in her own balloon. She's
Yeah.
Oh, that made me sad. I'm sorry.
No,
I brought that up.
Okay.
She's in her own balloon
she's
going
in her
up.
own balloon
What would you
going
think
up
she'd
in the sky.
What would she be reincarnated as?
Chloe?
Yeah. Because that's kind of the movie. Like you get to do a new life, I guess. Something that eats trash.
As a garbage truck. Eats trash.
That's an object.
One that's sentient, though.
Should be like, I don't know, some sort of like a vulture or something. I don't know, like a.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what do I write on this one? Oh, okay. Just in case there was a Siamese in here. 1 Siamese, 1 star. Signed, Lloyd.
You're so witty. I can't think on my feet like that.
Yeah. Hey,
yeah, I know.
And we got... No, of course you can. And you were hilarious in the review for Star Wars and Hunter Killer. Mm-hmm. And we've also got the animated... I think it's back there. Oh, yeah. We've got an autographed DVD of Lloyd the Animated Series as well. So check that out at patreon.com/thecinemasnob. Well, that was fun.
If I was a cat, what kind of breed would I be?
With all these questions off the top of my head.
I don't know.
If you were an apple, what do you think your core would look like and how much seeds would be in
what
it?
The hell? You would think I'd be like the flat-faced, white cat.
You would be Sassy from Homeward Bound. Alright, well, thanks a bunch, everyone, for watching. We'll have stuff go. We're gonna be gone, but we'll still be seeing movies as well and throwing up reviews of that. There's Bombshell, Uncut Gems comes out as well. Spies in Disguise, I think, comes out around Christmas. So we'll have plenty of stuff to see. Thanks for watching. Take care.
Bye.